Hello, I'd like to order some food for delivery. It's chow time.
Sorry.
Video review. I'm better than you. We're better than Siskel and Ebert, too.
Hi, I'm Tom Wilson,
And I'm Joe Malone.
and this is
Chow time!
Video Review.
Hey, Tom, what kind of week you had?
Oh, I had a swell week, Joje. Corporate and everything, you know.
That's great, buddy. We got some great flickers this week. We got some sucky films and we got some great films. Now, what's the first one we got coming up?
The first film we've got is a 1980 film directed by Dennis Hopper and starring Dennis Hopper.
A true punk film of the genre. Punk. P-U-N-K punk. Now,
why
the
not?
next film we've got is 1972 Flicko. It's directed by Michael Ritchie, and it's starring
Robert Redford.
To Die For. Anyway, it's called The Candidate. It's kind of wacky, kind of kooky, but it's a political thriller. And what?
And our final film is a 1961 movie directed by Billy Wilder and produced and written by Billy Wilder as well. I read up in it from my giant video collection. And it's starring James Cagney.
It's called 1, 2, 3. It's
Chill.
known as a screwball comedy. Anyway, pal of mine, what do you say without further ado, we get to the first flick?
Yes, that's a good idea, Joje.
So, America, we're lighting this cig at you. This is to you, and let's get to the first film out of the blue.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us watch the critiques.
Have it right at your home.
Come on, Tom. I mean, I'm sick of this roughage. Do we really have to go on a diet for chow time?
Hey, it's slim down for chow time. And next week you're going to be on Stairmaster while you review. So
I
what's
feel
not
like
here
a
ain't
twisted
complaint.
Brer Rabbit or something.
Yeah, put a little salt on it or something.
I
Anyway,
did.
it's good for you. That's why it hurts. All right. First picture we're going to look at is Out of the Blue. It's a 1980 picture. It's directed by Dennis Hopper. He took over the filming about 4 days before the shooting started. It was shot in Canada, so it was kind of fast and loose. A little different insurance laws up there.
The director was fired 4 days before it was set. Hopper, in the peaks of his drug addiction, begged to direct it because he could no longer be insured in America.
Right.
And they begrudgingly let him take the reins.
Right. This film has punk overtures. Dennis Hopper is the star. Linda Manns plays his daughter, and Sharon Farrell plays his wife. And in a nutshell, this picture, Dennis Hopper, he has a close relationship with his daughter. We're not sure what's going on. Something's going to happen. Anyway, in this first scene, we're going to take a look at what takes place to Dennis Hopper and why he ends up going to prison for 5 years. Anyway, dude, without further delay, I say we click on this, baby?
Together?
Certainly.
All right, very good.
All right. First scene, Out of the Blue.
A chain around my neck and lead me anywhere.
Am I 6 years old? What to ask? Go on now.
You could be.
Oh, yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I that bad that you gotta drink?
Oh, man. You ain't that bad as you got.
This scene is going to show Linda Manns, the daughter of Dennis Hopper in this twisted American family. You'll get to see her persona as a teenager, and let's check it out.
Tough little punkhead.
Yeah, very punk. Click.
I'm having a rum and coke.
Go ahead, but I'm staying here.
You coming with me?
I dare you.
I don't know
I dare you. You're crazy.
You want to be a punk rocker?
I fucking don't want to get in shit.
Well, fuck you.
Wow.
Oh, you big chicken shit. Subvert normality.
God, I put in time. Hold on, Sally, I'm coming to you. Hold on,
Rum and coke. A rum and coke. Right. Rum and coke.
broke my back for $1 scale, worked bled for every dime.
Rum and Coke, CB.
And what's that on me on?
No booze here, CB. Come on, out.
Oh, Thursday. Well,
Let's do it. You want it the hard or the easy way?
hard.
All right, baby, you got it.
Let's go. Let's go. I want to let go. Leave me put me down.
Take it easy, CB. Just take it easy.
I must have been off balance. I could have took you any day.
Out of the Blue. This 1980 film is a 10 out of 10. A 10 out of 10. It's a great movie. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. Hopperian, amazing cinematography, a piercing, uncompromising, realistic take on drug addiction, incest, and the destruction of the American family. I mean, really, it's Dennis Hopper's best movie ever in terms of directing and acting. The best music soundtrack ever. Neil Young wrote Out of the Blue. This music was made specifically for this movie. There's 5 versions of the song in this film, as well as Elvis Presley and punk rock, like the Sex
True,
Pistols.
it's a nice blend, and Elvis seems to
It works.
with punk.
Yeah,
Yeah, so 10 out of 10, huh?
that's right. The
Dennis
music,
Hopper's greatest work. What do you think of Linda Manns' performance? That's
very
your daughter,
fucking
see?
great, excellent.
Wow.
Queasy. It's a very honest movie with a taut script.
It's an interesting picture. I thought it was not for everyone. Some audiences would be turned off by the subject matter.
Yeah.
But for those people that like Dennis Hopper, like movies that are a little bit different, you know, and aren't worried about the gritty realism of the dark side of life, you know, they'll
it's
eat up.
piercing.
They'll eat up this picture.
Yeah.
I was really enthralled with Linda Manns' performance. She created this punkette character that looked, you could see she had been through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, traumatized and
Yeah.
trying to put up a tough facade. I was mesmerized by her performance.
She was excellent.
Dennis Hopper, his directing was pretty good. I felt that near the end of the picture, there was about 15 minutes of the film where I couldn't follow what was going on, mainly after he got fired and he was having the conversation with his friend over beers with the band is playing.
Well, you mentioned that to me.
Yeah,
I think
found
that
it-
was your faux pas.
No, I found it to be jarbled. I watched it a second time, and I found it unable to follow.
I did not
Anyway,
have this problem.
So I found it, the last third of the movie is difficult to follow. I think it's not very straightforward, and the editing was kind of choppy. I sum it up with a 6.8. It's not for everybody.
I'm jumping down your neck.
It's Linda Manns' great
come
performance.
on.
It's Linda Manns' best performance.
She's only been in 2 movies.
Well,
But I'm
it's a
glad
great-
you
it's a
like
great-
her,
it's
because
a
I
great-
loved her.
It's a great performance by her, but for Dennis Hopper, I was disappointed personally. I wasn't happy with his performance, and I found his directing to be just average. But a 6.8 means see it, you know, it's definitely okay, not a bad picture, definitely see it, you know, tell CHOWTIME what you think. So there you have it.
You've heard it. That's our review.
CHOWTIME.
The second film on the chopping block is a 1972 film, The Candidate, directed by Michael Ritchie. Still a hard-working director.
Oh.
He did Diggsville and many other films.
Diggstown.
Diggstown, right,
Right.
with some
James
people.
Wood.
Yeah. James Woods and the bald guy from Officer and the Gentleman.
Lou Gossett.
That's right, Lou Gossett Jr. But anyway, this film, starring Robert Redford, is about a political campaign. Robert Redford is an idealistic young man who decides to run for California Senate.
Right.
He's based in San Diego. And this film, that's what this film is about. It shows you the political campaign from beginning to end, question mark. What can I say? That's what the movie's about. So, my man, Tom Wilson, will now tell you what the first scene is.
Okay. In this first scene we're going to look at from The Candidate, Robert Redford, his father was the governor of California, and he's a pretty boy, and so he's kind of got an in to possibly make it in politics. He's already won the Democratic primary, and now he's up against the Republican incumbent, and he's been moving up in the points, in the polls. He's doing well. So this scene, a big debate is taking place on TV with the Republican incumbent who's been in this position as senator for 18 years. And at the very end of the debate, Robert Redford decides to go away from what the spin doctors have been telling him and just to really voice what's on his mind. And it's pretty interesting. So without further ado, let's check it out.
In the beginning, I think it's important to note what subjects we haven't discussed. We've completely ignored the fact that this is a society divided by fear, hatred, and violence. And until we talk about just what this society really is, then I don't know how we're going to change it. For example, we haven't discussed the rot that destroys our cities. We have all the resources we need to check it, and we don't use them. And we haven't discussed why not. We haven't discussed race in this country. We haven't discussed poverty. In short, we haven't discussed any of the sicknesses that may yet send this country up in flames. And we better do it. We'd better get it out in the open and confront it before it's too late.
Gentlemen, now just a moment, please. Gentlemen, you had to do it, didn't you? I never dreamed that my opponent would stoop to encouraging violence. I very seriously doubt that any man who could do that.
Okay, the second clip. Robert Redford, going for Senate, is getting a little punch drunk. He's tired. He's doing that campaign trail. TV shows shaking hands. He's punch drunk. Let's check it in.
This country cannot house its houseless. Feed its foodless. They're demanding a government of the people. Peopled by people. Our faith. Our compassion. Our courage on the gridiron. The basic indifference that made this country great. And on election day, we won't run away. Vote once, vote twice for Bill McKay, you middle-class honkies.
Time for the critique of the candidate. Joe?
Yes.
This picture is sharp, it moves well, I enjoyed it, and I say even though it was made 20 years ago, it's still totally watchable. It's just like today's political scene. A very poignant picture. Anyway, this was the type of movie where I believe that life followed art. Because it looks like the Dan Quayle character came out of something like, you know, like the Robert Redford character. And also
So you didn't think it was that sharp? You thought he was like a dummy?
No, it's just that like he had like these weird ideals, but he was made as a prop man. There's a part of the movie where they say, what's your stance on crime? And he goes, I have a 5-point crime plan. And he starts talking about it, and earlier in the movie, that was handed to him by his spin doctors, you know, about 2 hours before that, and he had nothing to do with actually creating it. So when I say he's like similar to Dan...
Isn't that always politics?
Well, certain politicians are supposed to come up with their own ideas. But this movie really shows how the politician is really just a front man for the ideas of the spin masters and how they really pull the strings, and he's almost like a puppet in some ways. Anyway, with this picture, it seemed like it was made like this year. I didn't feel him the least bit dated. And everyone should check it out. I give this movie an 8.4, and I'm not usually a fan of the political genre. It's not my idea of, like, you know, fantastic suspense. But this is well made, very well made, and it comes frighteningly close to the way politics really run in this country. So there you have it.
I don't know if it's frightening. It was
8.4.
8.4. Well, I give it a 6.5. I agree with aspects of it. Good acting, like you said. Peter Boyle's very amazing.
Really is.
Robert Redford's excellent. Don Porter as the senator.
That's who it was.
Right. He's the competition for Robert Redford's excellent, as is Melvin Douglas. Second cousin is in the movie. Has a line.
That's great. We're not showing the clip.
Okay, we're not. But that surprised me, and I dug it. What I like about this movie is it's the first of its kind. meaning it's completely realistic. It's done basically in real time. It's not 100% real time for an hour-and-a-half movie, but each scene plays out in real time, and it's completely realistic. Before the player, Robert Altman,
very much so,
right, and before Bob Roberts, mostly the Timothy.
Almost 20 years before these pictures.
Yeah. So the Bob Roberts? Who is that? Dr. Von Bach? You know, Tim Roberts.
Tim Robbins. Robbins, not Roberts. Robbins.
Bob Roberts, Tim Robbins. Thank you, Doc.
Robbins.
But that's also the problem with the movie. Because it's so realistic, you don't get any fantastic entertainment.
Oh, I do.
And you don't get some amazing drama. Because it's like a real political campaign. There's nothing extra humorous or anything. And therefore, it bored me at times. But I liked it, and I gave it the review I gave it.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I ran out of scallion, buddy. May I?
You can have it at your Christmas present.
Thank you.
Yeah, this stuff is killing me. Dr. Von Bach, did you bring the chocolate sauce I asked for?
9 chocolate sauce, 9.
Oh, God. Okay, into the next picture. Okay, the next picture we've got is called 1, 2, 3.
Chill.
It's a 1961 Cold War comedy, directed by Billy Wilder, produced by Billy Wilder, screenplay by Billy Wilder, starring James Cagney, Horst Buchholz, and Pamela Tiffin. In a nutshell, this picture, it takes place in West Berlin for the most part. James Cagney is a big cheese executive for the Coca-Cola Company, which is prominently mentioned throughout this picture. And what takes place is he wants to move further up the corporate ladder, and in order to do so, he has to take care of his boss's daughter.
This movie, 1, 2, 3, proudly displays Coca-Cola in the script, theme, and the location, the atmosphere. So, in this first scene, we're going to show you a little dab of that in comedic format, a la James Cagney. Let's analyze in great detail.
Wo fahren Sie hin? Ost-Berlin. Papiere. American citizen. What is the purpose of your visit? I'm going to see Commissar Perepechikov, chairman of the Russian Trade Commission. What for? On business. I represent Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola? You have proof? Will this do? I confiscate proof. Fair enough. Just return the empty. Okay, proceed.
Next scene we're going to look at for 1, 2, 3 is one of the most amazing, hyper-extended monologues in the history of American cinema. At this point, James Cagney has found out that the boss's daughter is pregnant, therefore she has to stay married to this communist guy that she's hooked up with, that takes place right in the picture. And so James Cagney's decided that this raving communist, is now married to the boss's daughter. He's going to make him look acceptable to the boss. Rumor has it that in this scene, James Cagney had boasted that if I can't do it in 1 take, I'm going to retire from the cinema. And as far as I've heard this legend, it actually took 3 takes to do this scene, and he did retire after this picture.
Until 1981's Ragtime.
So,
on Showtime.
It could well be very true, but even if it took 3 takes, it's still amazing. So, take a look at this scene and just lust.
Jill?
First, call Reinhardt and Reinhardt Custom Tailors and have them send up everything they've got in their shop. Single-breasted, 3-button, narrow lapels, medium-graded, dark blue, size 39 regular. Next, call Plesky the haberdasher. I want to see some shirts. Broadcloth, plain tab collar, size 15.5, 34. Shorts, nylon or cotton, size 32. Socks, French live, dark tone, size 11.5. Ties, not too wide, not too narrow, not too fancy. Also pajamas, handkerchiefs, cufflinks, suspenders, etc., etc. Next, call Hochstetter's. Have them deliver some shoes, British or Italian models, brown and black, size 9B. Yes, Fritz. No, Fritz, I need you. Sleepy or not sleepy, everybody works today. Next, call any first-class hacker. I want to soften a hat. No pork pies, none of that Tyrolean jazz, size 7 3/8. Correction. After we cut his hair, 7 1/8. Next, call that department's downtown Jeansstraße. Have them bring up a match set of men's luggage, cowhide or pigskin. Next, call the Ritz Jewelers. I want to see a selection of gold wedding rings, also engagement rings, diamond solitaire. No less than 2 carats, no more than 4. Make sure he's close behind his ears.
Okay, it's time to critique this film. Ultimately, 1, 2, 3, chill is what I have to say. But it starts off real funny. I've never seen a Billy Wilder film. I've heard a lot about him, you know, comic escapades, screwball manicness, and it starts very funny. James Cagney's got a lot of energy, and he's really funny, and there's this real quick script. Everyone's always yelling and like these quick lines. Good cinematography, especially for 1961.
It's filmed on location in and east and West Berlin.
That's right, and there's great locations.
Yeah,
I mean,
great
it's
locations,
really,
yeah, it's
yeah,
great locations.
the East Berlin's like ravaged rubble.
That's true.
However, with all the screwball manicisms, Tom, it eventually tires me out.
No.
Didn't it, like, tire you out and, like,
Well,
finally get sick of it a little bit?
No, I
That's why I gave it a 5.5.
5.5. Okay, well, it was a classic screwball comedy. I had never seen James Cagney in a comedy.
I've never seen him in anything.
Oh, he was just,
Except for Whitey.
He was really tremendous. I was really impressed with his role. The script, I was a little less impressed with. The supporting cast was only okay. And as Joe mentioned previously, let's get this name so we'll never forget him. Horse Buckholes is
Butthole.
It's the worst thing we've seen since Billy Zane. So, you know, we can't hold back, ladies and gentlemen. Taking the fact that it's a screwball comedy, not a genre I usually love, but I got caught into this. Cagney is the reason I give it a 7.9. And
what?
I think this picture's got to be checked out by all of America.
How was that yelling Otto Connie you were threatening to kill during the movie?
Because
how can you give it that higher review?
Because Cagney's so amazing that if it wasn't for Otto, the blotto, I would give it like a 9.7. Cagney's energy is just unbelievable. Anyway, America, take a look at this picture for something different from James Cagney than what you're used to. This is not White Heat or Public Enemy. There is some self-deprecating humor that Cagney does. He picks up a grapefruit, he plays the little dirty rat jokes. They're subtle.
Oh, I missed that, really?
Yeah, he does that. Some self-deprecating humor that's really great. It reminds me of like Brando and the Freshman. You know,
oh, yeah?
really,
I love that.
So there's a little bit of that that's pretty neat. And just to get a look at Billy Wilder, who was really the king of the screwball comedy, you know. So take a look at it. There you have it, America.
You heard it from Swimming Head.
On CHOWTIME. Okay, ladies and earthworms, it's flop time here on CHOWTIME. We have searched through the archives, Joe and I, to look for that real stinker, that super flop, the movie you don't ever want to see, but yet it's always on whatever cable channel you subscribe to. Never stops. Anyway, Babylon and I have come together this week. We finally agree the flop of the week is...
Rising Sun.
Starring Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes, based on a book by Michael Crichton. It's awful. It's terrible. There's nothing good about it. You know, when Michael Crichton wrote this book, he based the character on Sean Connery playing the character in the movie.
He already visualized it
Exactly.
in advance?
Well, exactly. Crichton's book was okay. I read it. I read Rising Sun. I followed it. The book is a lot better than the movie. What the directors did in this particular case is they changed the ending from Michael Crichton's book, and they had, like, this is like a murder suspense movie. We're not even going to go into the plot because it's so awful. But it's a murder suspense movie, and Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes are out there to crack the case. And in this movie, the murderer ends up being a character who doesn't even exist in the book. They write in at the last moment.
Which they probably did.
Right.
Didn't make sense.
As my partner Joe would say, using his lingo, his jargon, that he does have the patent on.
Which I copyright, yes.
Exactly. This is one sucko flick.
Hey, don't watch that flick wrist. A wrist flick.
Well, I am trying to use your jargon, and boy, he has a copyright in the mannerism, so every time I go like this, I gotta give him a quarter. Okay.
It's supposed to be sucko flicko.
Anyway, don't watch it, don't see it, don't waste your time. You heard it on CHOWTIME. Rising Sun is dreadful.
Rising Sun is a sinking turd in an abyss of... I'm not allowed to curse anymore, but, crap!
You said that very eloquently.
Oh, thanks, man.
All right, buddy.
Ally.
Flop time on CHOWTIME.
Keep eye contact at all times. And at all costs, don't lose your temper. I don't lose my temper.
How you doing, guys? How you doing? Konbanwa. Watashi look, but we cops, man. Just step aside and have no trouble. This is police business. Oh, seems like nobody's listening. Come on, come on.
It's me. Could have taken them. Their objective was not to win, but to delay us. And they've succeeded. Eddie's friends. Looks like they've got their revenge. You gotta stop this. You gotta do something. Do what? He's finished. That cement dries fast, and there's no way they're gonna rip open that foundation. Everyone wants this case closed.
It's time for the food review. Yes, you say tomato, and I say tomato. I'm sick of roughage, man.
Toss a nice salad.
Whew, you know, so for someone made us go on some kind of CHOWTIME diet, and/or we have no bucks, and now we're eating this crapola, which we got from a big supermarket, where they've got like $20,000 worth of video camera equipment protecting like $20 worth of Twinkies, and like, you know, we went late night, and there's like people walking down the aisles with like tentacles. And I hated it, and I hated the food, and this is bomb part 2.
In other words, vegetables seem to hit Joe like crack hits the average person. Turns him into a maniacal dude. But what do you give it on a scale of 0 to 10 with this?
Oh, I see. I see. Try 0.
0?
Yeah.
This healthy all-American fare?
Maybe if I went into the Franco-American / Chef Boyardee aisle, it would be a higher score. But this stuff...
I don't even follow that. As roughage goes.
It's a rough age. I'm bumming.
I was going to give it a 2, but after that crack, I give it a 1.5.
Then I perceive my goal. Hello.
Hello. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another really great show here on CHOWTIME.
All right, show.
Okay, Joe, when will they be seeing us again?
2 weeks at 9:30 p.m.
On Channel 34. Don't miss it. All new episode. CHOWTIME.
Hey, Tom, you mind holding the TV a while? I'm getting sick of it.
No, I refuse to hold the TV. Hold the pizza.
Look, Tom, I'm sick of this crap. Seriously, just hold the goddamn TV. It's tiring me out.
Fuck you. And the horse you came in on, pal. This is CHOWTIME video review, and I'm in charge, see?
Okay, it's like 1, 2, 3, chill. A little bit of Nesto, palo. Here's my intro in stereo. I'm neither hither nor thither, but I'm coming at you.
Hey, stop rapping, you fuck.
Okay, sorry about that, but this TV's getting awfully heavy.